So there's two deific masks for the art form known as hip hop that I want to touch on real quick. One is the very, very origins of hip hop. And a lot of people say that it started in the Bronx, New York. On the American scene, it did. Started in the Bronx. And it was probably happening in a few other major cities at the same time. You had a little bit of each coast represented almost simultaneously to an extent, although it may not have been prevalent in other places as much as it was the Northeast. But yet and still, hip-hop, just like all things that we attribute to origin stories, Africa, West Africa to be exact. Enter the realm of the storyteller, the West African griot from whom the very, very nucleus origin of hip-hop was first brought to any cultural overplay. So the griot was the history keeper who would tell you all about the family tree, all about the legends, all about the tales of what the ancestors did. He or she assigned roles. A lot of this was done through the art of song and over a rawhide drum consisting of whatever animal skin provided food for the family. The drum was a reward for the hunt. It was an instrument that was fashioned off the same animal, the very same animal that you used to feed your family. So the stories that were connected to the beating of that drum were connected to cultural survival. Bring this into hip hop, and it's its absolute strongest deific mask, the preservation of culture. Second deific mask for hip hop is an art form known as jazz. And we mean classical jazz, not so much the nice mellow out, hey babe, what you having? We at Olive Garden. Not that type of jazz, not the smooth, Kenny G and onward type of jazz, but the real Thelonious Monk, Art Blakey, Cannonball and Nat Adderley, Miles Davis, Coltrane, Charlie Parker style of jazz. For what is called the improv, the solo. What made jazz so beautiful and why it's such a necessary deific mask for hip hop is because it combines both freestyle and storytelling. Jazz is just as much a part of song structure as it is about the solo, the riffing, the hip hop styles, the hibbity bibbity, the ones who could spit fast, the ones who could spit with the triplet flow. This is the jazz solo played with the horns and the piano and the bass, clarinet, saxophone, etc. Classic jazz. At the same time, there was a hook to let you know that the song was indeed a song. It may have started off as a jam session, but certain parts get played as a refrain. Certain parts of the song get accentuated and repeated. And this ties into culture. So those are the two deific masks that make hip hop the strongest. And these are also the two deific masks that I want to firmly cement an expression in Style Wars 13. This is why you have different kinds of songs. These aren't things that I'm going through. If you hear like experiences on there, like for example, So Lost, where you hear like you can lose a legacy, and if you don't reach him in time, you won't even want to go back for him. They'll be so far into ratchetry. And you have the other song, Our Things, that talks about the reality of hypergamy and men and women relations. And the fact that, it is what it is. That's a Red Pill song, Our Things, but I made it clean and wanted to keep it very mannerable because that's my brand. I want to keep it shirt and tie sounding, you know what I mean? Nothing raunchy. We have enough of that already. We have enough of the rugged. We have enough of the crass. We have enough of the keep it real. We have enough of that. We have enough of the gangster. We have enough of all of that. Again, I'm just gonna talk about most things that get discussed by a lot of hip hoppers, but just talk about them over using a different tone, while at the same time talking about other things. But these two DEIFIC masks is what I intend to wear in every song, to give you the West African griot, the storyteller over the drum, the voice that leads the village through poetry and oral tradition, verbal narrative, and at the same time converting that into both song and repetitive rhythm, and enough improvisation to highlight the skill set and just the vocal, verbal, lyrical delivery, but at the same time in that jazz to have a repeating theme. Just like in the tribe, the repeating theme, the overarching thing, it all ties back into one refrain, one hook, one chorus. Self-preservation and the expansion of culture.